Alright, how's it going, everybody? This is Dominic, aka Dozer Beats. And what's going to happen in this video is I'm going to show you a couple of different methods you can use that if you're alone and you need to record your vocals. Some of you may not have someone to press the record button for you, so I'm going to cover a couple of different ideas for that. Okay, so there's going to be two scenarios you need to be concerned with. And the first scenario is you're going to record right next to your computer, alright? However, the other scenario is if you don't want to be next to your computer because maybe the fans are loud or something like that. I don't have that problem. I have special fans in my computer. You can also get coolant cooling systems. That's another story. But the other scenario is you're going to be further away from your computer. Alright, so we're going to start with the first scenario, and that is you're going to be far away from your computer. So what do you need? You're going to need your monitor, right? So how are you going to have your monitor far away from your computer? That's simple. All you need is a monitor extension cable. I have one right here. They cost like 15 bucks. This was a 6-foot one. I'm not using it currently, but I have in the past where I used to live. And this will allow you to add on to your existing length of your cable so that you can have a longer reach with your computer monitor to your location. Okay, so we got the monitor situation taken care of. Well, now who's going to press record? Well, you are, because you're alone, right? So you need to make sure that your keyboard, that you have keyboard shortcuts set up inside of your recording program, okay? Mine, for recording, is the plus symbol. I have that set up in Cubase 5. Of course, most programs, you press the space bar, and that will stop and start play. Now, another thing you might want to consider is there might be a setting, there should be, there is in Cubase 5, for whenever you press the space bar or you stop recording, that the time now, the CTI, the current time indicator, basically where you are inside your program, alright, in time, returns back to the start position. That way, you can jump down to your next track. I actually have keyboard set on, shortcuts set, to where I can just click on a button, click on a combination of buttons, it'll jump down to my next track and arm it for recording. So another thing you may want to do, if you're going to do that, is set so that when you do press the down arrow button, for me, and it goes down to the lower track below that to keep recording. Maybe I stopped recording, I'm going to start recording again. That when you select a track, it arms it for recording. Now you need to be cautious when you do that, because you will see that you will run into problems with that. And that is, you'll select a track messing around, doing something, and you're going to go record onto that track and not the one that you really wanted to. So that just comes down to making sure you have the correct track selected. Alright, so, well, now you're going to need an extension cable for your keyboard, right? Well, they make those too. I have here, I believe this is a 8-foot USB extension cable. You can just put as many of those together as you want, okay? It's not going to make a difference. You could be 15 to 20 feet away, whatever. And basically it allows you to take your keyboard with you wherever you want, and then you can set it down, and then you can just be looking at your monitor that you have on an extension cable also at a remote location away from your computer. Alright, press your button for recording and you're off. Alright, so your mouse, well, you're probably going to want your mouse with you too. Alright, so you're going to need also an extension cable for the mouse. I currently am using that. It's right here. Then of course there's the other scenario, and that is the one that I am doing, and that is you have your microphone right near your keyboard, so I can stand right here. We'll talk about that bag in a second. And I can press the buttons on the keyboard, I can mess around with my mouse, I can see my screen, I have my headphones right there, throw them on, and we're off. So if you're going to be close, it's common sense. I don't need to tell you what to do. You can sit in a chair, re-angle your microphone down to your face, whatever you want to, up to your eyeball, whatever, and then you're good to go as far as that goes. Now if you are going to record, let's say next to your computer, alright, you need to be mindful of reflective surfaces that may be reflecting your voice into the microphone, which is why you would probably want to set your microphone into a cardioid pattern so that it only picks up noise from the front. This mic has only one pattern, which is cardioid, and that picks up noise from the front. Now before I go into covering just a real quick touch and base on your acoustics for recording vocals, I am basically going to tell you about this microphone situation I got here. Some of you are like, yeah, I know what that is. It's basically I usually put my microphone away, but right now I just have it out because I was probably going to use it for something, for an upcoming tutorial. And not for actually recording the vocals for the tutorial, because I use that microphone right there, but for the actual recording of the vocals on the song. Now, the plastic bag basically covers it so that to prevent dust from gathering on the microphone's diaphragm. And I have in here a silica gel packet. Basically, it's a desiccant. If you don't know what that is, Google that shit. And it prevents moisture. Now, the chances of me having moisture in here, it's not real humid over here in Michigan. It's really dry right now because of the cold weather, so I'm not really worried about it, but I just have it in there for the hell of it, okay? Now, it's like I said, it's going to prevent dust from gathering on the diaphragm. I don't really have a problem with dust in my home, but it's just to be safe. Now, as far as this thing you see here, the pop filter, I have it on a separate stand, all right? You don't have to do this. This is probably being a little bit too picky, but as you talk, rap, sing, do folk music, country music, jam out the rock tracks, whatever you might do in your microphone, it's going to vibrate the pop filter, and if the pop filter is connected to the boom stand of your microphone, well then, of course, it's going to add a little bit of vibration. Now, we're talking negligible here, all right? I've recorded tracks where the pop filter was attached. This is being real picky. It's not something you have to do, but it's something that you can do. And basically, it's basically just a tripod for this camera that I have now, or any camera, and I took off the top hub, and I attached the pop filter there, and now I can raise it up or down, and I can bring the legs in and out, whatever I want to do, and I can bring it in close, position it where I need it. Alright, so now to wrap this video up, I'm just going to talk about some room acoustics as far as recording vocals. Alright, this room that I'm in, my studio basement area, it's not finished, and that wall looks kind of dim because I have a light down here. My basement's kind of dim, so sorry about the lighting, but as you can see, I got some acoustic paneling and tiling on there. Alright, I have a whole other video about how I did that. And got the big bass trap there. This room isn't done. It's going to have bass trap over there in that corner from floor to ceiling. I'm going to have this whole wall done with a bass trap floor to ceiling, super chunk bass traps floor to ceiling, and the whole wall is going to be done. I'm going to have a ceiling cloud right up there, alright? Built out of panels, hanging about, I don't know, 2 inches, 4 inches. It's all going to be dependent upon once I start doing my room measurements. So it's not done, alright? So all you little trolls that are like clicking on in the little comment section to say, oh my god, your room is set up improperly, I'm fully aware of that, okay? It's not at the optimal. Now, it's not optimal, but you could do a mix in this room right now, alright? Due to the size of my room, and now the size of the room you can't really tell because of this, the focal length of this lens on this cheap ass HD camera and stuff like that. So I don't have a wide angle lens, but like you're looking at that right now and it looks really close, but that's really further away, okay? It's like, I'd say 15 feet away from you right now, but it looks like it's really close to you. Alright, so this is a 25-foot room, alright? And I believe it has 8.5-foot ceilings, and it is a finished basement. Recessed lighting, stuff like that. But as far as vocals and recording your vocals, alright, there's a couple of different ideas. I'm just going to throw out a couple there, okay? A lot of people think you need a booth. Do you need a booth? Maybe. If you have sound from external sources that are getting into your microphone, such as computers, kids crying, people jumping around, aliens invading, I don't know, whatever. Spider monkeys, once again, we have the spider monkey issue. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but there are spider monkeys and they are on the loose. So whatever your issue is for sound, that is going to dictate if you need a booth. Now, I don't need a booth. And to tell you the truth right now, my room is not optimally set up because I need a ceiling. I get a lot of reflection off this ceiling, okay? So that's not completed, but I can still record vocals, alright? Use a low gain setting, get closer to the microphone so that I pick up less room noise, like I said, with a low gain setting, and then I would be able to record in this room with no problem. And that's what I do. Now, optimally, if you could, you'd want a bigger room to record in, okay? And this room is perfect size. And I don't need a vocal booth, as I've said. So if you have a big enough room and you can get by and you have nice room acoustics, okay, you can just take your microphone and position it directly in the center of the room. You know, granted, you have some good, you know, anti-reflection characteristics, all right? You have some tile or foam or panels on the ceiling. All right, the back wall is pretty good for this. The side walls are good. It's just the ceiling right now. All right, so you can use your whole room. All right, and again, like I said, your gain is going to dictate how far you are from the mic. So if you're getting way back here and you have room issues, you're wrong, okay? Sorry, there's not a right and a wrong way. There's nothing that is etched in stone, anything I say. You can do whatever you want, but there's things that make sense and things that don't. I mean, come on. Would you pan a lead vocal 100% to the left? Now you might, if you're trying to do some like kind of special weird effect, you know what I mean? But you're probably not gonna do that. So, get up on the mic. If you have room issues, get closer, turn your gain down a little bit, because this is a condenser mic, doesn't require a lot of gain from your preamp. All right, a condenser mic like this, if you're just trying to record what you're hearing and you're not trying to color the sound, you can turn your gain way down. All right, now if you're using more expensive, you're probably going to turn your gain up and turn your output down so you can get that nice warm filling or whatever you're going for. But if you're just using a regular preamp like I am here on my MU1820M, I'll set a low gain. All right, and that will depend on, of course, how close I am from the microphone. So to cover, basically what I was saying is that a lower gain, all right, but you still want to be recording. Now the levels at which you're going to record, everybody has their own preference. Some people record very hot, all right. People compress on the way in. I compress on the way in using the onboard compressor on this thing, all right. And if you're not compressing, that's okay. But my peaks are around -10 on the way in. The very peak, the biggest peak is probably around -10, all right? I'm not recording like really hot. Don't really need to, because I'm just gonna leave myself some headroom and increase the gain later, all right? So once again, the gain will dictate how far you're away from the microphone. If you have a bad room sound and you're trying not to pick up the room too much, get closer to your microphone, all right? This microphone does not have proximity effect, so you need to take that into account. If you're using a microphone that does have proximity effect, if you don't know what that is, look it up. Then you're probably going to want to do something else. And what we're doing right there is I created another video a second ago, and I am basically mixing it down, going off subject here. But in case you're wondering what's going on the computer. Now, I'm going to do a whole video on my studio setup later, but that's another story. And I'm just going to quick touch base on the final thing, and that is booth or corner booth. I say booth with a B-O-O-F. I don't know why. Maybe I don't know what's wrong with me. Speech impediment, who knows? But booth, all right? You can make a corner booth. What does that mean? Well, all you do is you take some paneling, all right? I could take all these panels right here, create a configuration where I have this panel up against this wall, this panel up against this wall. I take my foam pieces, I foam up the ceiling, from floor to ceiling, basically foam, all right? And then you're gonna take your microphone, you're gonna place it right here in front of you, wherever you need it. Have your monitor turned towards you so you can see it. I could have my keyboard right here, my mouse in my other hand, and my pop filter here, and I could basically look at this, all right, and do my recording. Now, behind me, all right, since the microphone is picking up sound from the front, because I don't have it on omnidirectional, all right, I have it on cardioid, all right. If your microphone picks up sound only from the front, which hopefully it does, if it all depends on what you're trying to record. Anyway, so behind me, or behind you, I should say, the whole corner is treated floor to ceiling, so you're not going to get many high reflections off of the ceiling, off the back wall, and you're picking up sound from this direction. So any sound from behind you is pretty much going to get absorbed, not 100%, I'm not being technically correct, but to a good degree, all right? So this would be a corner booth situation. My computer's over there. I'm not gonna pick up any sound from my computer. I'm just gonna pick up my voice going forward, all right? Now, of course, there is sound bouncing off the freaking wall over there, coming back, hitting this wall, but behind me is treated. So therefore, less room sound will get into my microphone. So instead of building yourself a whole booth, all right, you could do that. You could just have a corner section, have your artist or yourself in the corner, all right? You don't want to be backed up in the corner like this, all right? You want to give people room to move around, all right? You want to have it out a little bit, but the whole corner can be treated, all right? And you can have your little vocal corner, all right? There's other ways you can do it. You can treat the whole section of a wall and put the microphone over there and you just stand in front of it. I mean, there's a million different things you can do. They make reflection filters that go around your microphone. You can even build a little box. I've done that before back in the day when I was ghetto. I built a little foam box around my thing. It's called a portable vocal booth. You can look that up if you want. So those are just a couple ideas. If you like the video, go ahead and drop a like. That's pretty much going to set this video up. I could go over some other stuff later, okay? Peace out.